dealing with multiple chemical sensitivity can be incredibly rough. I wanted to make this just so if anyone um, that also deals with this listens to this, so they can just resonate, realize you're not the only one, um, and maybe people who know someone that has it can just maybe understand a little bit more. And there's a lot that I can go on in different ways here, but more or less, so multiple chemical sensitivity is kind of an umbrella term for individuals who have a harder time detoxing chemicals, right? So, and these are can be any types of chemicals. It's not, I guess, extremely understood all of the ways that someone could, have this issue. It's also not like widely recognized, so there's not like that much. There's definitely not that much research or anything that goes into this by any means. But that there is a percentage of the population that is aware that they deal with this and deals with it. And I think almost anybody, um, you know, has reactions to these chemicals. But I think certain people have a harder time detoxing them, so they have just worse reactions. But I digress. So these are the types of chemicals that are in, that are in everything, that are in detergents, that are in hand washes, that are in like fragrance, anything, fragrance, like scented garbage bags, like Glade plugins, cleaning supplies, you name it. If it's got a scented thing, it probably has a chemical. Um, and then other things as well. I mean, there's chemicals, as we know, used in pretty much everything. So, but the ones that I know in my own personal life that I struggle with the most are the ones that are used and the ones that I had just mentioned. Um, and so, folks who deal with this have a varying degree of reactions and symptoms, right, when they're having issues uh, detoxing these chemicals or when they come into contact with these chemicals. So, just to give a brief description of some of the ones that I deal with, because it's just you can get like a framework for not like oh that was annoying, like you know what I mean, like that didn't smell good or something or whatever. Like that's not it at all. So for mine, it would always be I would have, and I'm saying was too because I've been healing this and I've gotten to such a better place around it. Like it's insane how much better I feel around it, but I still deal with it every single day, which is super annoying. And I'm, looking forward to when I am fully out of this, which I know I will be. So my symptoms, I want to start with like they were more on the extreme end, was if I even came into contact, like if someone, just for an example of like that was wearing a certain type of detergent would walk even, like 20 feet near me, or if I just walked into a room that had a scented garbage bag on the other end of it, even if I like immediately left the room or if I immediately walked away from that person, just that initial contact of coming into like that cloud of chemicals that is surrounding the person or garbage bag or cleaning supply or whatever it is, I would immediately become dissociated. I would lose all feeling in my body. I would become extremely weak. I would start like I would have like tremors and my body would be shaking. I felt as though I had daggers going through all parts of my brain and through my spine and body. I had severe like migraines doesn't even do it justice, like feeling like my head is splitting open. I would become extremely agitated. I would become scared. And like when I mean scared, not like scary. It's just like it's like a visceral, like in your body. Basically, just what it was is like going into a full fight or flight response. Because when these chemicals would happen, the reaction is like my body would think that it's dying. So I would go into a full fight or flight response. So and then all of a sudden, like I had no connection to self. I wouldn't be able to be connected with anyone, even people like even loved ones or people I'm like super close with. I wouldn't be able to feel safe enough around them. Like all of a sudden, everyone and everything seemed like a threat, and I was in like a different dimension, is what it felt like. Um, so super visceral reaction there. Just obviously robs any happiness or joy or motivation, and this is just from coming into contact with it for 1 second, and then it would take hours to slowly be able to relax my nervous system and everything enough to be able to slowly get back to my, homeostasis, like comfortable baseline. And this would take, and if I had to, for whatever reason, if I was like trapped near one of these chemicals for longer, if it took longer for me to like get away from it or whatever, it could take up to a day. It could take 2 days. It could, the longer I would be exposed to it, the more chemicals that my body then had inside of it that was having a hard time detoxing. And it took that long to detox them out. And then for me to relax my nervous system enough to be able to come back to a normal space, in a normal state, rather. So, with this being said, these are and this so it was like a cascade of symptoms, right? And those were just kind of touching on the main ones. Thank God, the place I'm in now, I don't dissociate anymore at all. I'm able to stay fully connected and fully in my body every single time I come into contact with any of these chemicals. I detox them faster. Um, I I don't go into a full fight or flight. I get angry, like not in an anger that's like uncontrollable or like I'm reacting or whatever, but there's like a visceral, like an understandable, like visceral reaction when you just feel like you had this crazy violation and you got attacked, and there's just like immediate anger. But I've learned, and I've developed a lot of ways to be able to stay connected to myself and stay in my body and then do all these different things while this is happening. And I don't even care. The anger, it's almost like helpful in a way. It's like before I wouldn't even allow myself to get to that space because I was just getting destroyed, So in a way that helps me stay and hold my energy and stay connected. Okay, I don't need to go into that. That's another topic, another video. If you're interested in that, that's so many other things I can talk on, is developing how to stay connected throughout the entire thing. I want to go a little bit more into just the experience and just like, you know what I mean? Like, well, why it's so rough to have to deal with this and have to live with it, because for many reasons. But so, like I mentioned, these things, as we know, are everywhere. They're everywhere. Um, I I'm sure no matter who you are, unless you are living in like some type of hippie commune, you probably have some friends or some family, and definitely acquaintances or someone that in your network of people in your life, that I'm sure use some kind of detergent or some kind of product or some kind of something that you would have a reaction to. And these are just the people in your circle of friends, right? And then in the world, there's obviously, definitely, you know, countless people who use these products all over the place, right? Whether it's at the grocery store that you go to, whether it's at the gym that you go to, whether it's when you have to go to the doctor, whether it's when you have to go to work, whether it's you have to go, just you name it. You know what I mean? Like, doesn't matter where you go, if you're going into a building that isn't yours, a house that isn't yours, around people that aren't you, there's a very high probability that you are going to come into contact with one of these chemicals. Like I said, like just picture a scented bag. Like for you to be able to smell that scented bag even around the room, those chemicals are in the air in a cloud formation. When you're walking past a person, you smell their detergent. They're living in this cloud of poison, more or less. This cloud of chemicals, but like that's not. I don't need to go into that. But just imagine, picture it. Like there's clouds of these chemicals everywhere. I just had an experience where I had to take these bags out of a storage that used to hold clothes from like over 7 years ago, and there was not even clothes in the storage bags. These are just bags that held these clothes from over 7 years ago when I used to use these products that destroyed me. I didn't even know about. even just opening the bag still held these chemicals into such a way where I still had a terrible reaction yesterday. It's crazy how potent these chemicals are and how everywhere they are. So, with that being said, with them being everywhere, right? With them being everywhere, you are going to walk through life and you're just getting hit with these random clouds of chemicals and you're having these reactions all day, every day. As you get hit with a reaction and it sends you into a terrible place and you have to remove yourself and relax and get better. And over and over. And you go back, hit with another one, relax, try to get better. Get hit with another one, relax, and try to get better. And this just happens all day. And there's no room or time to fully heal, fully relax, fully remove yourself because you can't control the rest of the world. You can only control yourself. And I know there's people that deal with this. There's people that deal with this that genuinely move out to the desert, that move out to places where there are no humans, which leads me to my next point. This is an extremely alienating thing to have to deal with because I'll just speak for myself. I mean, I'm lucky. I mean, I'm pretty fortunate that I'm extremely introverted, and the people I'm super connected to in my life, I don't have to worry about with this. So I'm very fortunate in that way. But with that being said, so like I said, I'm very fortunate that I'm very introverted, and I don't want to go anywhere, and I just want to either be by myself or be with those few people who I'm super connected with, and that I don't have to worry about these chemicals with. But it's extremely alienating. Like I don't go places for that reason. Like I do all my things. Like I go to the gym, I go to the grocery store, I go to the places where I need to go. Like I'm not going to let it stop me from doing the things I need to do. Like I go to, I work, whatever. I do all my, all the things I need to, and I deal with the reactions. Um, you know, like I'll do all the things I want or need to do, but like I'm not gonna just go hang out at like a gathering or a thing or whatever, or you know what I mean, like all these things, because especially when it involves like connecting with people, because when I have these reactions, when you're in a chemical reaction, state like this, and you're trying to detox it out, when you're in that, you can't connect with people because it's hard to stay connected to yourself. So it's extremely alienating because you just don't end up doing these things. You don't go see people, you don't hang out, you don't go do this, you don't go do that, because you just know it's going to be more trouble than it's worth. It's going to be hell. You're going to feel like shit. So you might as well just not do it. So it's, uh, it's extremely alienating, And then the next part, which is a difficult thing, which is like I have really come to terms with, which is okay. But when I first started getting all the, understanding and awareness, and like starting to actually be able to have enough awareness to be able to see like, oh, when I come into contact with this, and then I started feeling like this, like it was very obvious. It was like, this is this, you know what I mean? And connecting all the pieces. When in before in my life, before I removed myself from the chemicals, I was just in a 24/7 reactive state, but that became my new baseline. Um, so it's funny. Every once in a while, I get this like random feeling. I'm like, this is so weird that I'm just like talking to myself or to a camera, and then I'm just like, it's weird. But I digress. I come back. So the thing that was extremely difficult for a while was, this is and continues to be the hardest thing that I deal with in my life. Right? It's a uh, neurological nervous system based thing. They consider it autoimmune, but either way, it's like it is fucking difficult. Okay, it is a struggle every single day. It's hard as hell. It feels like shit. It's terrible. Like I don't. When I feel good, I feel amazing. Like I feel so good. But when I'm in these reactions, it's brutal, right? And like I said, it's gotten so much better, and I couldn't be more grateful for that. And it's continuously getting better, so I'm insanely grateful. It's still the hardest thing that I have to deal with, and it's still brutal. With that being said, people don't understand it, and why would they? Right? Because I wouldn't have either unless I was the one experiencing it and having the awareness within myself. To most people, it just sounds like you're being too sensitive, right? It's like if you just bring up something with like, I'm feeling, oh, I'm being bothered or something by the that fragrance chemical. Most people just, you know, I get it. They don't have a framework to be able to put it inside of, so they just probably think like, oh, they're just being sensitive, you know what I mean? Like fragrance, whatever, like, you know what I mean? Because fragrances are everywhere. Like, they're just complaining, whatever it is, you know what I mean? Like, whatever it is, people aren't going to understand. The most understanding people in the world will be supportive and they'll understand to the degree that they can feel you, and they're going to be open enough to be able to see that you're obviously feeling something that's uncomfortable. And if they're empathetic enough, they'll be able to feel that, and they might not understand exactly like the feeling of the chemicals, but they'll see that you're not lying and this is some real shit. But most people, like I said, understandably, they're not to blame, just won't understand. So you're not going to get support from almost anyone. And not that you need the support, but it's like what you're saying is like what I'm saying is you're going to get the opposite. You're going to get people who are judging you. You're going to get people who roll their eyes. They're going to get people who just um, who think you're being dramatic or think you're being whatever. So that's also alienating, and it's also just frustrating. And it used to bother me because, especially, and still, um, the people, like, what's frustrating is like I'm fortunate that I have some people in my life who really understand me and like seek to understand me, and couldn't be more supportive. But then I also have loved ones, like I have family members who they are so kind and sweet, where they like try to be supportive and will listen to some degree, but they don't get it and they can't get it, so they won't. They don't. They still roll their eyes. They don't believe me to, you know what I mean, like fully. Like, I can feel that and I can tell that. They just try to, like, they minimize it or tell me it's, like it's in my head, or like, and I'm like, tell them I can't do certain things, and they'll still try to push those certain things and just be like, "We'll just do it for a little bit or whatever." And they, you know what I mean? Like, they just don't get it, and that's going to be a lot of people, understandably, and that's okay. It's up to you. It's up to me. It's up to us. All right. It's up to the individual. It's up to me to know what I can be around, what I can handle, when I have to remove myself from a situation, how to handle it. It's not up to anyone else for anything. This is all my thing that I'm dealing with. So I think the last point now I want to touch on is just like the frustrating thing is it. So with those 2 points I just laid out, and then now this third one is like, it really feels like you're in this invisible war at all times, and it's frustrating because to some level, when you're in public, uh, I've gotten better with this, but like I used to adapt like a very hyper vigilant state, because it's always like you don't know where this random next attack from an invisible cloud of chemicals is going to come from. So it's almost like you're looking at everybody, keeping everyone at arm's distance, every new room, everything, with this like hyper vigilant state of um, like caution. And I have another video of like why you don't want to do that, and how no matter what, like, you don't want to be like, trying to internally run away from anything. You want to always, when you feel anything, be diving directly into it and feeling that fully, even the chemical reaction. That's not what I'm going to go into here. Um, what? Oh yeah. So the invisible war feeling, right, is like, so with that, there is this feeling like always going on. Like, I feel like I'm in this like invisible battle with all these like chemicals and things in the world, but no one else is aware of it, and everyone else is just around being able, having a good time, connecting with each other, living their life normally. And I know everyone's got their own shit, like everyone, you know what I mean? Like, it's not all just everyone's connected and having a good time. I know most people are like in their head, worried about tomorrow, worried about that thing from 10 years. Like, there's all different, like, levels of shit. And also, there's a lot of silver linings, and one incredibly beautiful thing that has come from having all of this to deal with. And I'll share that too, for me. And there's more than one, but this thing that I deal with the chemicals has given me a brilliant and beautiful opportunity to be so in touch with my nervous system at such a deep level, that I have gotten so connected to myself and my being, because I am able to feel myself at the nervous system level every single day. And that's given me a really cool opportunity to become that connected to myself. So there's a silver lining in this. If you want to utilize it for that, there's a gift in everything, right? As we know. And there's absolutely been a gift in this. The hardest thing in my life has also given me the best thing in my life, which is I am incredibly connected to myself. Um, and I think a lot of that is I have this to thank. So yeah, so that's another video, another topic, another thing. But I wanted to just at least express that because this isn't all just bad. It's not like, oh, woe is me, oh my god, poor me, I deal with chemicals. Like, that's not it. You know what I mean? Like, this sucks. That's a fact. I'm stating it. But there's also good things, and we're okay, and we've got this. Um, so yeah, I'm just gonna kind of finish on that, which is like the invisible war, and it's just frustrating because you're living this battle that people are A, gonna think is fake, and B, aren't gonna be aware of, and then C, you're gonna have to you have to, you're navigating your life in such a different way, and you have to do so many things in different ways that like other people aren't gonna understand, and that aren't always easy. And like, these chemicals are everywhere, so a lot of things you have to make decisions. Like, like there's a lot of places I just can't go. There's buildings like I'll walk in, I'll get hit, and I just like I have to turn around because I can't be in that room. Like, there's things like, I can't do it. I can't do it. There's certain places I just cannot be. Won't walk into for a second. Like, if I go into like an office building, if I have to go do something at a place and I walk in and like that room is terrible because like I can feel in there they've got like sent the garbage bags and they clean with something, whatever. Like, I got to drive somewhere else and go to a different building. Like, I'm not going in there. Like, I'm not sitting in there for even 3 minutes because it will fuck me up for 3 days. So, you know, there's, I'm probably going to end it here. There's so much more I can share about this. I can share more about the symptoms and the experiences. I can share more about how I've uh, developed ways to conquer this and get over it and heal it. And like I said, it's not fully there, but it's crazy better, which is like a miracle, truly. Um, and yeah, anything in between. Just please, comment if you resonate with any of this for any means. If you would like some support or help, if there's any need at all, like I've thought about like starting a some type of like community for this. Do you know what I mean? Just because this is a very alienating thing, and just to have like a community, whether that's like a Discord community or a school community, I don't even know how that works, but like I know these are things. So if there's any desire or demand or need for that at all, let me know in the comments. Even if it's just a small handful of us at first, and it can grow or whatever. Because also I really want to. I have bigger passions and visions around this, which is like I want to, you know, somehow affect change with this, and I want to get these chemicals out of everything that we use. I know that I can't do that alone, and that's not an easy thing, but I am very passionate about it because this has been the biggest battle that I've continuously fought in my life, and I would like to win it at a more ultimate level and help others as well, because no one should have to deal with this. And it's sad that, you know, our children have to deal with this. It's sad that everyone has to deal with this. Like, it's just, people are fucking inundated. I walk past like, mothers with their babies and they just smell like chemicals. And it's just like, we can be a lot healthier as a species, as humans. We could be a lot healthier and we could live a lot, our life could be a lot better. And um, yeah, even if you don't detox chemicals easier, these are not good for the human body. So, all right. With that being said, let me know. Let me know. Just hit me up. Comment. Um, comment and just let me know. Just let me know.